It's Tom Stoukas coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario, October 25th. Hope everybody's having a nice night. Saturday. So we're still dealing with the fallout of Doug Ford grabbing the ire of Donald Trump. Oh, I'm watching the commercial. No. So, I mean, it's been going on for months. He's been trash talking Donald Trump for months, so it's not surprising that Trump's starting to notice him. So we'll look at that. See how it unfolds, because I don't really have much faith in Doug Ford. I think he's going to keep saying stupid shit. Like he's doing commercials with Gavin Newsom, who Trump hates. And he is really a horrible governor, so I guess it's appropriate that they're doing commercials together. Not commercials, videos. Bro videos over the LA Blue Jays World Series thing. But yeah, he hates, and Newsom's probably going to run for president, so it looks so much like interference, political interference, like you're interfering in the political U.S. politics. Like that's, always a thing you want to avoid. But Doug Ford, no. Pick an unwinnable fight with a more powerful enemy. That's Doug Ford says go for it. Okay. I was saying yesterday, I was trying to get it trending for him to resign. Like, this is it. He's got to resign. But a lot of people think he's doing a good job in Ontario. So we got a big problem in Ontario. Big problems. If they think he's doing a good job, we got big problems in Ontario. All right. Let's start this. Who's this? Brad Wall. I think he used to be premier of Saskatchewan, if I'm not mistaken. What's he saying here? If this is the Brad Wall I'm thinking of. Yeah, it looks like. His asinine threat to shut off power to the U.S. Yeah, I remember that. The Crown Royal poor. Now this. Premier Ford should understand that while these stunts may be good politics with the elbows up crowd, in Ontario they are worse than reckless in terms of our economy. So not just Ontario's economy, but all of Canada's is kind of, Ford's gambling with his antics. Good point. But Trump is going to go after this the crown jewel of Ontario, which is the auto sector, and he might have gone regardless, but we'll never know. All right. Asinine threats. He didn't just, it wasn't just the shutting the power and the crown walls. He was really personally insulting Trump. And it's a free country. You can insult somebody, a public official. But when you're the Premier of Ontario, you start insulting somebody, especially the most powerful guy in the world who's got a little bit of a thin skin when it comes to that, then you might be being a dummy, acting like a big dummy, because, your words have consequences not just for you, but for millions of other people. But hopefully he resigns. He needs to resign. I hated him before this. Like, this is actually the least thing. The commercial is the least thing. And the Trump stuff, it's stupid the way he's acting. But that's the least stuff that bothers me about him. What he did, working with Trudeau for years to bring third world masses to Ontario, plus all this DEI, LGBTQ stuff in the schools, all that's on him. The COVID stuff, he was a tyrant. So yeah, the Trump thing's the least of my criticisms of him. He's handling the Trump thing stupid too, but I knew he's a dummy way before the Trump stuff. Hopefully, the rest of Ontario, this will be at least a wake-up call for them to say, yeah, this guy's got to go. He's no good. He's destroyed Ontario. Resign. I was trying to get resign trending, but there's no hashtags anymore. Okay. That's all. And then Trump did something different. He added, because we aired this World Series ad, the commercial, the infamous commercial. He's going to add 10% tariffs, 10% of the existing tariffs. I don't even know how that works, but I think the bottom line is he's got no, maybe before he felt maybe a little bad about stealing, or not stealing, but taking the auto industry from us. Now I don't think he'll feel bad at all. Maybe he would have felt a little bad. So here's Danielle Smith weighing in on the current situation. I remain convinced that the path to a positive resolution with our U.S. partners lies in strong, consistent diplomacy and a commitment to working in good faith towards shared priorities such as North American energy dominance. To that end, I am pleased to see Ontario's ad campaign is being suspended, and I once again urge the federal government to continue negotiating to resolve these tariff issues and to restore a free and fair trade agreement with the United States, while diversifying and strengthening the Canadian economy by unleashing our world-class natural resource sector. So yeah, Danielle Smith seems like the least retarded of our premiers. Everybody else seems totally out to lunch. You have Wap Canoe telling Ford to keep doing the commercials. You got David Eby saying he's going to do his own commercials. So yeah, Danielle Smith's like the voice of reason out of all the premiers. She's not perfect, but compared to those other premiers, she is pretty good. Here's another thing, another headline. 2 teens, 1 child, 2 teens, 1 child arrested after stolen vehicles recovered in Milton. What do they mean by child? So I guess not a teenager? Arrested 2 teens and a child after they say 3 stolen vehicles were recovered during a Milton, Ontario crime spree. How old is the child? So 15-year-old to 16-year-old. And an 11-year-old. Holy shit. So it's a common theme here, which I say is about the Youth Criminal Justice Act needs to be basically changed so there's more consequences for these guys, because right now they know the law, these young criminals of today, and they commit really serious crimes because they know they're not going to get harmed, and they get probably gangs or bosses that use them for that very reason. So every day you see headlines like this: home invasions, shootings, car robberies, or car thefts. Lots and lots of young offenders. So, yeah, that should be a main campaign theme. And I'm not saying like ruin the kid's life for some dumb, mistake. But when you're carjacking or home invading, I don't think that's a mistake. I think that's just a choice you made. At least identify them, shame them a little. No, do more than that. But right now we coddle and those kids they get on the internet. They know what they can do. They know the law better than we did. All right. Next here. This guy, Hardeep Grewal. So they just announced some measures to tighten up the licensing system in Ontario, not just for the truck drivers, but for people in general. Because if you notice, there's a lot of car accidents on the streets because some people, come from countries where they don't know how to drive. So now they're saying they need to do visa and work permit verification for all applicants. Visitors can no longer obtain a commercial driver's license, and whatever. This probably should have been done already, And I remember going to get my motorcycle license, and the whole place was like 200 Indian dudes in there, and I was like, man, how many car accidents are going to be from this graduating class? But I like Mark Emery. He's like, so this guy's Hardeep Grewal. He's the junior, like the assistant to the transport minister, Pragmi Sakaria, another Sikh. Sikh in charge of road safety is like hiring an arsonist to lecture on fire prevention. I thought the same thing, because like it's all the Indian truck drivers that are crashing most of the time. Let's see what he says here.
Safe. That ends now. Under our proposed changes, every driver we're cracking down on fraud and closing loopholes. Our government, under the leadership of Premier Ford and Minister Sarkaria, introduced the Fighting Delays Building Faster Act. For too long, individuals from countries without reciprocal licensing agreements were able to use unverifiable foreign experience to skip Ontario's rigorous testing process.
I wonder what country he's talking about.
In some cases, fraudulent documents have let unqualified drivers bypass the very standards designed to keep everyone on the road safe.
I wonder what countries we're referring to.
Under our proposed changes, every driver from a non-reciprocal jurisdiction will be required to pass the both G2 and G road tests before earning a full Ontario license. And for those seeking a commercial driver's license, we're introducing a mandatory 1-year waiting period after obtaining a G license before taking the Class A test. We're strengthening residency verification, ensuring legal status in Canada, and proof they are residents of Ontario with a verified local address. And for individuals with work permits, licenses will only be issued for the duration of the work permit and not the standard 5-year term. Visitors will no longer be able to obtain Ontario commercials driver's licenses. We want people to succeed in this sector, but we have to do it the right way. These are common sense reforms that protect families, support honest workers, and ensure Ontario remains a national leader in road safety and responsible licensing. Together, safer, stronger, and more reliable Ontario.
All right. I don't know why they're doing this. It could be all the headlines and people complaining about being afraid to drive on their own roads. It could be, pressure from the U.S. because, Canadian drivers go back and forth. Who knows? But I don't really have much faith in Pragmeet or Hardeep Grewal to fix things. Okay. This is funny here. New book just dropped. This is funny. Sun Tzu was a famous Chinese war philosopher, whatever, I don't know, strategist. He was like, don't get into fights you can't win. Just common sense, really. That was one of his main things. So, but Doug Ford's the opposite. He's like, if a battle cannot be won, you must fight it. You must fight it and get annihilated. Son Ford's Art of War. I've seen this. It was funny. It's true. It's like Zelensky, too. This could apply to Zelensky. But, yeah. It has I don't see any benefit of trash talking Trump for 6 months and then running commercials in his country, slagging him, basically. It's not going to help. It can only hurt. But he don't get it. He's going to be in his cottage drinking beers. All right. This is the latest video. Trump, he's reacting to the fact that Ford put the commercial on the World Series. Let's hear what he says here.
They were putting it on a little bit more. Hold on. They could have pulled. Well, it's a crooked ad. I heard he's airing it. Canada, that's why I pulled everything. Canada, they did a crooked ad. They know it was Ronald Reagan loved tariffs. What they did is really dishonest. And I heard they were pulling the ad. I didn't know they were putting it on a little bit more. They could have pulled it tonight.
Could have pulled it Monday.
Well, that's dirty playing, but I can play dirtier than they can, you know?
I saw some really...
All right. He can play dirtier than they can. That's funny. So he's clearly, I don't know. To be honest, like they say, like, oh, he's being thin-skinned and whatever, but I think he's just sick of the Canadian politicians, because think about it, like when he won, before he won in 2016, guys like Justin Trudeau and all the Canadian elites were making fun of him, saying, oh, he's never going to win. Then he won, and they were calling him all sorts of names, and calling him like racist, Nazi, whatever. And then he lost. Well, he got the elections stolen, in my opinion, in 2020. And they were making fun of him because he lost and whatever, and they didn't think he was coming back. And then he came back in 24 after years of them slagging him. I'm talking like Justin Trudeau and all his government, his cabinet, his caucus, and conservatives, some conservatives. And so after years and years of that, and then you got months of fat Doug Ford, insulting him. So I think the accumulation of that is he doesn't consider us a serious country. And he's treating us like an unserious country because of our idiot leaders that have been slagging him for years, really. So that's what you get. You don't see the long, big picture, right? Years of insulting the guy, and now he's like president with an axe to grind. And think about it too. He wants to go after Doug Ford now. He wants to go after Doug Ford because of all this. Think about it. When Doug Ford was selling hash in parks in Etobicoke, Donald Trump was doing billion-dollar land deals in Manhattan. So I'm pretty sure if you had to bet on who's going to win in a battle of wits, Doug Ford or Donald Trump, I'll take Donald Trump. I know Trump's not, he's got a lot of faults as well. But if you had to put him in a head-to-head battle with Doug Ford, I'll take Donald Trump any day. And the thing is, we're going to suffer, not Doug Ford. So, yeah, it's not a matchup we want. And he's got the NSA, and he's got all that. I'm sure he's got whatever dirt on Doug Ford. I'm sure he can screw Doug Ford good. So he's got to watch his back when you're talking trash to the most powerful guy in the world. I don't mind if he does it, but he's hurting the rest of us. Here's another good point here. If Trump came up with an advertisement to manipulate how Canadians feel, there is no doubt the CRTC would have denied it from even airing. The media and politicians would have called it an attack on our sovereignty, and elbows up Canadians would have been outraged. But when Doug does it to Americans, it's clever and effective. Yes, it's really hypocrisy, because totally he's right. Ryan's totally correct. That would Trump would never get away with doing what Doug Ford is doing. Never. So, very good point. There's Trump again. Trump accuses Canada of dishonesty, claiming we made a crooked ad and played dirty by airing it during the World Series. So Ford screwed up the trade negotiations and still managed to find a way to make things worse. He's actually a bigger POS than Jagmeet Singh was. Yes. Hopefully this doesn't blow over. Hopefully this hurts Ford, because I want him gone. I can't stand him. You know why Ford's doing this too? It's like he's trying to purposely get under Donald Trump's skin instead of just criticizing the policy. You know, valid criticism. He's taking personal shots at the guy. And it just, doesn't make sense. He's just he is making things worse. Okay. Yeah. Hopefully Trump finds a way to get rid of Doug Ford for us. That would be awesome. Now that he hates him. Because it's the same thing with Trudeau. He wouldn't deal with Trudeau. He's like, Trudeau's got to leave. That's why he started calling him governor. I wonder what he calls Doug Ford. All right. Ontario to pause anti-tariff ads at Trump's fury, which is code for admitting Ford went too far. Doug Ford is Canada's worst nightmare right now, and somehow Canadians love him for it. Yes, I agree. So I think he's, the support he's getting is from the elbows up crowd, which is the Liberals and then the immigrants who hate Donald Trump that vote in Toronto. So yeah, he wants to run for, that's what I forgot to say before, is the reason he's trash talking Trump and acting like a tough guy is because he wants Pierre Poilievre's job. And his advisors are saying, the polling shows it's good if you're tough on Trump. So that's the only reason he's doing it, for his political ambitions. So he's hurting us, or potentially hurting Ontario and Ontario residents for his political ambitions. That's pretty bad, I think. That's resignable. You should resign for that, for sure. But he won't, because he has no shame. Okay. It's really what it is. He wants to be a leader, conservative leader, and he thinks this is being the tough guy on Trump is the way to do it. I mean, and maybe he's right. Maybe his pollsters, his campaign managers are right. Corey Teneke and Nick Kouvalis, they're pretty smart guys. So maybe they figure this is his way to the conservative leadership. And I noticed a few hit pieces on Pierre today. Today I saw one on National Post trying to poke holes into his leadership. So I could see it happening, Doug Ford. But I don't know. He think he should be a conservative, though. He can run for the Liberals, maybe. Okay. Next. This is the thing about the 10%. Trump says tariffs on Canadian exports will increase by 10% and directly attributes it to Ontario's Reagan commercial. Okay. Because of the serious misrepresentation of the facts and hostile act, I am increasing the tariff on Canada by 10% over and above what they're paying now. Thank you. So yeah, whatever. The tariff thing, I mean, technically the U.S. pays the tariff, so I don't think Canadians are as worried about that as the closure of the plants. And he's probably going to call all those auto plants and say, yeah, you better make plans to move here or else you're going to be paying lots of duties. So, and not just the car manufacturers, but probably a lot of the parts places too. So yeah, I don't really have faith in Doug Ford to prevent what's coming. Okay, next one. Here we go. Trump announces 10% tariff hike on Canada's fury over hostile act. He called it a hostile act, yeah. Reagan ad reaches boiling point. So I said this, the commercial might have been the last straw, but when he was calling him like tyrant and bully, like he was calling him all sorts of stuff, like personal attacks, and it just, you could tell he probably wants to. It was probably getting under his skin, like so. Paybacks are going to be a bitch. We'll see. This could blow over. I don't know. But I think, like I said, this 10%, I don't think they're that, people in Ontario aren't that worried about it. They're more worried about plants closing and prices going up higher than they already are. But Doug Ford would be at his cottage or in the snowmobile trails. If I see a picture of him snowmobiling, oh. Okay. For not pulling, 10% extra tariffs for not pulling down anti-tariff ad sooner. Okay. So that's Doug Ford. Shitty conservative, destroying Ontario, trying to destroy all of Canada. So here, let's go to another conservative, Aaron O'Toole. Aaron O'Toole. He's another reason that, why this country's in such trouble. Weak. So he inserted Aaron O'Toole, former Conservative Party leader. I call him Doughboy. I don't know why. Every time I look at him, I see Doughboy. Pillsbury Doughboy, yes. And so he's gone to a little argument with the Dominion Society. And you knew this was coming with Aaron O'Toole, because he's holier than thou. And that's why he gets his ass kicked during the elections. Dominion Society of Canada, we're everywhere. Get ready for what happens next. Get on board or get out of the way. Canada needs remigration. So that was Dominion's response to Mark Miller, who's criticizing Dominion Society members. And then Aaron O'Toole has to insert himself to be the good conservative, the principled conservative. What's he say? Aaron O'Toole. Promoting Canadian nationalism through anger and division shows an ignorance of our history and founding values. Sir John A. himself was not a descendant of voyageurs. His family came here for opportunity like most others today. Oh my God. Canada can fix our system without abasing ourselves. So yeah, he's basically saying, he's calling Dominion angry and divisive. That sounds like the anti-hate talking points for the Canadian Anti-Hate Network. Because, he's a doughboy dummy. And he's saying Sir John A. was just as much an immigrant as these Indians that just showed up. Like, what a dummy. Oh, my God. I hate this guy. I hated him during the COVID election. Like, him and Trudeau had the exact same COVID. He wanted it more, the mandates, Aaron O'Toole. And it pissed me off. I remember when that little rat, Omar Algebra, banned people from flying who weren't vaxxed. Aaron O'Toole was like, oh, we should, he was for it too. He's a phony. And Daniel Thierry responded to him. This is a disingenuous argument. We do not promote anger and division. We promote remigration, a clear set of policy ideas intended to reverse the harmful consequences of radical mass immigration policies. We are motivated not by hate for the other, but by love for our own. And then Aaron O'Toole, Doughboy, get on board or get out of the way. It was not exactly the approach Sir John took. Strive to be better. Yeah, well, I'm reading his biography, Aaron, and I'm pretty sure, that's exactly what he would have done. He had no time for people like you. He had no time. You get John A.'s name out of your mouth, Aaron O'Toole. I said John A. would be aghast if he was alive to see weak conservative leaders like Aaron O'Toole helping to destroy his beloved Canada. That's true. John A. bled for this country. He suffered lots of, well, he drank a lot, but he was sick, but he still worked hard for Canada. And he sees weak people like you and Pear giving away the country. He would be sickened. I can guarantee that. So, just the way he talks, Aaron O'Toole, he's like just this doughboy coward who just wants to get along. Meanwhile, the Liberals are like tearing him apart during the election. He should have won that election, but he's a dummy. He buckled on the gun grabs, and he buckled on. He was a commie on the COVID. So whatever, Aaron, fuck off. Go do whatever you're doing. He works for some, who knows where he works, some lobbying company or some organization. Whatever. You're weak. You suck. You're a loser. That's my opinion on Aaron O'Toole. But yeah, very weak man. A lot of weak guys like him. He actually said John A.'s as much of an immigrant as an Indian that just showed up. Like, what kind of... This is what we have to deal with. All right, and this is when I hear the name Aaron O'Toole, this is what I think. This is what comes to mind.
We're all in this together.
Aaron O'Toole. There's Aaron O'Toole.
We're all in this together. We're all in this together.
Yeah, that's Aaron O'Toole. I don't want to hear no lectures from that guy. He should just be a liberal. Go join the Liberal Party. You lost to Dustin. You had an easy election to win, and you still screwed it up. All right. Excuse me. All right. Here's another post on Doug Ford. Trump has increased tariffs on Canada by another 10% overall. This appears to be a direct follow-up from the actions of Premier Doug Ford of Ontario. Having an ex-drug dealer as the Premier of Ontario might not have been such a good idea. It's like, yeah, I said that. Like, Doug Ford was dealing hash in Etobicoke when Trump was doing billion-dollar deals in Manhattan. So, pretty sure Trump, despite his flaws, I'm pretty sure I'm going to bet on Trump here. Ontario is totally screwed in a face-off with USA. In a face-off with USA with Ford as premier. Yes, totally screwed. Okay. And that's it for today. Saturday. Pretty light day. We'll see what happens tomorrow, if there's any Sunday news. And hopefully Doug Ford resigns someday, soon, very soon. Get that blackmail material out, Trump. Let's do it. So until, I guess, tomorrow, October 26th, we'll be back. And we'll see what happens. Until then, have a nice night.